The submission deadline exceeded component of the dashboard is a report that shows all planned regulatory actions assigned to you that have a expected submission date that has passed. So if you click into this component, you'll be taken to a report similar to this one. In the comment section, it tells you what needs to be done. And there's a few situations that could occur and different ways that you may choose to update the reg action depending on each situation. The first one that I'm going to work through with you is if it is a CHAMP regulatory action and the submission has been delayed. So in this example, we see that we have a planned regulatory action with an expected submission date of February of this year. Now, this submission did not occur in February, and we know there was a delay. So we're going to enter the CHAMP delay tab, and I want to reiterate this is only applicable for CHAMP regulatory actions, and I'm going to hit create for CHAMP delay. I can then enter the new expected submission date, which will be in April, and the reason is because there is an authority delay and and we'll just make a comment in the country, and then we'll simply hit save. By doing this, the mock team is notified of this change, so it prevents the mock team from having to come ask you, and it prevents you from having to tell them. So the mock team is notified of this delay automatically, and then it also gives you a new latest expected submission date, which you can see here. If you have additional delays, this date will continue to be updated. So then once you return back to your dashboard, you'll notice that this number drops from 27 to 26. So this will be one option for cleaning up those numbers. Another common situation is that the regulatory action has actually already been submitted and the data just didn't get updated. So in those cases, what you will want to do is add all of your information to the left-hand side for this submission. So any local documents, so anything that doesn't have data, you will just drag and drop here. If this was a production site, or it looks like since this is a CHAMP, there definitely probably should be production sites added here. If there's any other documents, if it was a dossier, if it was a data-driven submission, there may be a dossier. So you would add all of that information and then simply change the status to submitted. Once you do that, it will also move out of this bucket and your number would drop to 25. A third situation that may be the case is that the expected submission date simply needs to be updated. And as long as this is a non-CHAMP request, so you can see this one is a CHAMP request, so you would have to use a CHAMP delay to update that submission. But if it is not a CHAMP, then you can simply hit edit, change the expected submission date, and then your number will continue to drop. Another possible situation is that the reg action is actually not going to be submitted anymore and it has been canceled. And in that case, you would move the workflow status to canceled. So essentially for this portion of the dashboard, you are updating the status of the submission. So you are saying that it has now been submitted, that the expected submission date has changed, or that you no longer plan to make that submission. The ultimate goal is to get your page to look green. And so the system knows that as the numbers drop, the colors will change to yellow and then ultimately green.